So we got an interesting one here. This young lady in the middle was on Melly Monaco's Pineapple Show, and she turned down a nuclear physicist because she thought he was a little dry. Let's take a look.
Hello.
Oh, hi.
What
Hi.
are you reading?
Yeah, I was actually reading. I ship out in a few days, so I was
Also, he's in the Navy as well, so he's not just a nuclear
just
physicist.
reading the art of strategy.
Okay.
And he reads. Positive thing, right? He's trying to show, well, I mean, I guess it was an accident. They caught him off guard, but he's trying to show that he reads.
For the military?
Yeah, so actually I'm a nuclear physicist for the Navy.
No.
So I do that in a few days.
So you see her response. She kind of giggled, but she was either impressed or surprised that this guy's on live looking for a date. It's a dating show.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
How old are you?
I am 27. I look a little young. I'm not that young.
Yeah, you look young.
So where do you live?
So I'm actually in the Woodlands, Texas right now. Right down there by Houston. I'm about 30 minutes away from Houston. So I'm a little close.
Oh, nice. Okay, so tell me a little bit about yourself.
Man, where do I start? I like martial arts a lot. I did a bit of pharmacy
Good
back when I
discipline.
was a little bit younger, about 2-3 years ago. I got certified at pharmacy around when I was 17. I didn't really do anything with it. I went to university for a while. I was getting like a business degree. So I have a bachelor's in business. And then I did pharmacy for a little while, for about 3 years, and then got bored. So I was like, let's go see what the military has to offer. Didn't do anything. I did my PICAT about a year ago. Got a 96 on that. It goes up to a 99, got a 96. They offered me nuclear physics, and I was like, why the fuck not? So I went there, and now I ship out in a few days.
Oh, okay, nice. Well, best of luck as you ship out pineapples.
Yeah. Why?
Even Melly's like,
Because
damn.
he literally didn't tell me any qualities about himself. He's just like, I made a 96 on this. I did this. And I feel like I did that at first too. But however, I need a man with some personality.
You felt that quick? You know you didn't have personality?
Yes, I'm really good at reading people.
Okay.
So, here we are. The young lady, Jale, in the middle, kicked this dude to the curb because she thought he didn't have any personality. Now, that's her right. She can do that. It's her life to make these decisions, but I'm gonna tell you, a black 27-year-old nuclear physicist is rare. You know what I mean? He's got earning potential. He's talked about multiple things that he has potential in pharmacy as well. And he's putting himself out there on this dating show. Obviously, he's in the military, so he probably has limited time, not enough access to the streets. Although, if he gets stationed somewhere, hey, he can do it. But that's what I would recommend to this guy, is to get out there and actually talk to more women. Because he does need a little enhancement in his personality, especially on this platform. This platform in itself is set up. It's set up to knock men down. You've seen women come up here and knock men down. Every damn one of them, something was wrong with them. Something was wrong with them. And it's cute. They like to giggle about it. So she thought this would be cute. But this one hit different. You know what I mean? It hit different. It hit World Star because of what it represents. It represents the height. It represents a statement about our culture, about what it takes to make a black man acceptable in the dating market. Now, I always am a proponent of guys getting out there and just failing. I'm a proponent of guys getting out there and failing, getting back up, dusting themselves off and trying again. You know what I mean? Like, from that, you'll gain some type of charisma. You'll gain some type of shorthand on what works and what doesn't. You'll know. You won't lead with your accomplishments as a nuclear physicist, or the fact that you got a 96 on a test, right? So that's his bad. But the fact that she rejected him in such a short amount of time, it does go into a problem. Now, Jale's decent looking. She's not crazy. I've looked at her Instagram. She used to be I think a Atlanta Hawks cheerleader or something, or dance team. But when you put it all together, it's just still kind of, she's regular. You know what I mean? Like, you have to have some dancing skill, obviously, to be on that team, but you don't necessarily need to be a world-class beauty. You understand? So for her to look a gift horse in the mouth and reject it, that's what is the height of hypocrisy here. But anyway, she got in her feelings about it. And mind you, I'm gonna warn you, she wanted to do a response because she was getting so much heat from women. It wasn't necessarily the men that were giving her heat for this, because men, we kind of understand the fact, like, yeah, sometimes women aren't going to be receptive to your swag or lack thereof. You know what I mean? So when your guy comes up here as a nuclear scientist, even Melly was kind of shocked that she said, why? She's like, why did you reject him? Give him a shot. Like, you know what I mean? Because the truth of the matter is, she's going to look back at this moment and be like, wow. And I'm talking about into her 30s, because I think she's in her 20s now. Into her 30s, into her 40s, and wonder why that type of man is not available anymore to her. Anyway, let's take a look at the response. The soliloquy. Let's take a look at her copping pleas, really, for people to get off her head. Like, there's plenty of women out here that are just like looking for a man like that and can't find it. And she had it in her face and turned it away.
I was like, I did hear something. Yes.
Look at her forehead.
Wait.
Got her forehead.
We only see your forehead. Here we go.
So see, this is a more realistic view of what she looked like.
Yeah.
She ain't crazy off the charts beautiful. Like, I mean, she's good looking. You know what I'm saying? You know, like, for her to be turning her nose up at an opportunity like that, I think that's why people are like, what the hell are you doing? And, of course.
I'm like, I don't know how to work this.
Yes. Okay, so I was giving the people the rundown on what went down on the show. So you pineapple him after 2 minutes of talking to him, and I've read some comments.
Mind you, some of these conversations can go on 15, 20 minutes. So the fact that she pineappled him after 2 is significant. It means she really didn't give him a shot to get more comfortable, to get to know him. And hey, like I said, that's her right. But you made that bed.
I read a bunch of shit.
Made that bed, you're going to have to lie.
So I'm going to let you talk, and then I'll ask you some questions after you're done.
But hopefully she's learned that lesson now. You know what I mean? Like, what are you doing? Well, let's see if she does.
And saying what you got to say.
Okay, cool. So let's do this. I got like a good 20 minutes for this, and after today, I'm done with it.
Okay. All right, let's do it.
So, okay, first of all, let me just say this. Everybody's like, I feel like immediately everybody's like, oh, she doesn't want to talk to him because she feels like he's boring because of his job description. That's not what I said. Now, my wording could have been off and it could have been open for interpretation, but at the time, what I meant was literally like, his job was dope as fuck. Even if you watched the live when he said it, my face lit up. I'm like, oh shit, like, okay, he's smart.
Okay, we saw what that meant when she actually did it. It wasn't, oh, that's dope as fuck. It was, oh, that's surprising. And All right, why are you here? You know, that's more what it was.
I thought he was cute, so I continued to let him talk. What I was looking
Did she think he was cute? Maybe, but she didn't necessarily express that. She was playing it cool.
for and what I wanted him to tell me was, you lead with the, okay, this is my job description, this is what I do. But when you're trying to date somebody,
Which early in the show she did, which she admitted to right after she hung up with him.
you need to add in personal qualities about yourself, because at the end of the day, I'm not going to only be dating your job description. Like, your job description and a personality trait are two different things, point blank, period.
Okay.
You could have got to know that about him if you just let it go a little longer. That's all.
And if that was the case, and if that is what all it takes for a relationship to work, then these billionaires and millionaires would stay married for a lifetime. So we all know that that's not true.
Mm-hmm.
I think what honestly has taken me by surprise is literally all the women bashing me. I'm like, the fact that the standard.
And shout out to you women for holding her accountable for doing what she did. Like, that's what we need more of. We need more women who are willing to say, hey, she was wrong. She was absolutely wrong, and she wasted an opportunity there that could have been pretty good for her, maybe beneficial. I don't know.
Of dating is literally like automatically he got a good job, so you talk. That's something wrong with that. That's weird to me. Like, you know what I mean? Like, a man having.
But so she knows that is not what happened in that scenario. She knows that it wasn't just that he had a good job, that she knows that it wasn't just because he had a good job that was the only thing he had going for him. She didn't give him a chance to really get out the gate. Now, you know, if it had been Hot Boy or somebody, you know, she's at least going to laugh at his jokes. Hot Boy's a character. He's a person that comes up on this show time to time, and actually he's had most of the time on the show. He's come back multiple times during the stream. He's a rapper with tattoos on his face, and he gets the crowd going, I guess, a little bit, and you know, he gets to promote his music on the Pineapple Show all the time. Because Melly is a fan of him, I guess. You know what I mean? She's a fan of his antics. So therefore, you know, Hot Boy would have a better situation on this type of show. So it goes into kind of the problem with this public forum dating. You wonder what the real reason is for actually having this show. Is it to really make connections, or is it more for entertainment? And I think it's the latter. And I think Melly would even admit it was probably the latter.
His shit together should be a standard, but like, it has to go beyond that for y'all to have a connection. And at the end of the day, like, if I just wasn't attracted to him, I just wasn't attracted to him. Like, y'all are trying to make me be with somebody just because of what he does. Like, to me, that's crazy. So in addition to that, if you ask somebody that question and they can't even tell you any personal qualities about themselves, do they really know themselves as a person?
Mm-hmm. I mean,
all these
do you think
judgments
that's
being
okay?
made.
You know,
All these judgments being made and all these excuses being made for why she made the decision that she made. It's still not acceptable on why you cut him off so quick. I mean, I get it. It's speed dating in some ways. But you have the option to say there and listen. Like you said, you thought he was attractive, and you said you thought he had a great job description. So why wasn't that enough to at least inquire further? It's that swag thing. It's that you can't get past a regular guy. He's got to be entertaining you at all times. And in the initial moment, in the first 2 minutes, he's got to be tap dancing, basically, to get her to stop and pay attention and take him, and at least consider him.
the platform, it's a lot of people watching, you know, and first of all, he's approaching. So that,
Yeah.
you know, like
He was nervous.
He got a little nervous, and then you know, he probably wasn't prepared of saying anything about, like, I don't know, he was nervous pretty much. So so I don't know, maybe, you know, his strong suit is like, okay, I'm smart, so that's what I'm gonna showcase. But that wasn't good for you.
And I don't think that there was anything wrong with that. That's not what I'm saying. I feel like he should have pitched that, but at a certain point, like, let's be real, y'all. Especially to my ladies out here, y'all. This sounds so bad but I'm gonna say it at the end of the day. Y'all aren't gonna go on a date with a man and sit there and talk about how he made an A on his test. And I'm not saying that that's not great, but that's not gonna carry a whole conversation.
Really?
Now, for my people
That's what you.
that were like, well, you could have asked.
That's what she got from it.
Okay, I could have gave.
That's what she got from it. Is that he said he had a 96 on the test, and that was corny to her. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, what? It's crazy, man. I mean, fellas, you know, work on yourselves, obviously. Work on yourselves so that you aren't put in this situation. You bring the career, you bring the education, but you also bring some charisma to the table. But for her to do this, like, you got to at least have a willing participant. And obviously, this isn't the right person for him.
But at that point, I already decided I was over it. I feel like with the platform, what was going on, at the end of the day, we are literally on an online, basically, speed dating show. You know what I mean? So at that point, I'm making decisions just like that. You know what I mean? So I think, like, it's not the fact that I'm
making
like,
bad decisions.
Oh, he is just too smart. That sounds dumb. I wouldn't even be smart for saying that. However, let me say this about myself, too. Like, I feel like, to me, it's crazy how I feel like the narrative was automatically like, oh, she wants a bad boy, or oh, she wants a thug. Like, why?
Well, you opened yourself up to that. You opened yourself up to that when somebody that didn't represent any of that is so commonly associated with young black men, you gave him what most women would give Russell Wilson. If Russell Wilson wasn't a football player, you gave him exactly that. And how many women are talking about they want Russell Wilson? They want a Russell Wilson, right? If Russell Wilson walked you in the face, you wouldn't know him. You'd reject him. You wouldn't know him because you wouldn't have gave him a chance. And this is a perfect example of that.
Can't I be in a position to where I feel like I can have both? Like, why I gotta choose one or the other?
And see, this is where you get dicey. When you're trying to have everything, you gotta have the corporate thug. You know, you gotta have a tough nerd. You know what I mean? Like, it's not realistic. It's not realistic. Does it happen? Absolutely. But the fact that a lot of women are using that as a standard, it's crazy.
I mean, they felt like when you said no personality, then it's like, oh, so you want, I don't know, in people's minds sometimes it's like, oh, if you don't, no personality means that you want somebody that's like a bad boy or somebody that's a little toxic. Like he was too nice, pretty much. That's what people were saying.
Just to give you a perfect example, this interview explaining her decision making is longer than the time she gave him to even plead his case. That's funny.
But no, I think I could see how they took it that way. And so that should have been on me to explain it better when you asked me about it. But however, I'm going to keep it a buck and I'm just going to say this. Like, I have literally, like, talked to a doctor and we've gone to a strip club together. Like, you know what I mean? Like, that's what I'm saying. It's about that.
You could have gone to a strip club with a nuclear physicist if you played your cards right. You know what I'm saying? Like, that doesn't change anything.
Point blank.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
so it's so shallow and superficial.
I'm not recanting my statement of feeling like, oh, I shouldn't have pineapples him. At the end of the day, I'm standing beside that. I pineapples him because at the end of the day, I was looking for him to tell me more about himself that went beyond his accolades. Like, and I think, like, for me,
and he'll learn that. At 27, he should have already learned it, but some people are late bloomers, you know what I mean? And so he's just coming out of his shell probably. It took him a lot to even get on this show, I bet. And, you know, like some people said, the fact that she treated him how she did, well, it's going to make his decisions going forward a little different. When he encounters this woman in the world, he's going to act accordingly. You know, that's either he's going to rise to what she wants or he's going to reject her eventually. And I'm telling you, it's not going to work out for her in the long run if this is her mentality.
Sorry, somebody's texting me. Okay, and I think for me, just like for somebody who has held so much of their value
and then chewing the gum, Jesus, spit the gum out.
And the things that they've accomplished, you know what I mean? Like, I know what that is. So for me, I feel like I can identify that. But like, even just me now where I'm at in my life, like I literally, honestly, genuinely feel like the things that I have accomplished in my life are great. That is a part of things that are amazing, but that's not all of who I am. So I feel like when I was listening to him talk to me, I'm like, it's kind of a red flag. Do you even really know yourself? And I feel like a lot of the women that are like on my head about it, I'm just like, first of all, this is very shady, but it's like, where's your man? What do you do? Why?
Well, you're on the dating show, so where's your man? Obviously, you don't have a man either. So how are you going to use that as an insult against other women?
For real, like, where's your man? What do you do? Because you're in the comments coming at me and I'm on your page and you're a single baby mama. And nothing against single baby mamas, but it's like, at the end of the day, you're on my head because you're.
Wow, she went to the single baby mama. Damn. So she don't want no allies in this.
Projecting on me because you feel like you fucked up. Well, fortunately for me, I feel like I'm in a position and I'm also still young enough to where I feel like I don't have to just settle for one thing. Like.
And what did I just say? This is where she's gonna learn. Later in life, she's gonna regret making decisions like this. And most women do. So she knows this about other women, but she doesn't think it about herself. And that's the thing. Like, there's so many women that feel like they're invincible at this point, that the decisions that they make do not impact them down the line just because they're in their 20s. If you don't understand that the decisions you make today will impact your life for years to come, you're sadly mistaken. You're sadly mistaken. And so many women, the reason why they're coming out against you is because they understand that they made that same mistake and that they're not going to look past a nuclear physicist is looking them in their face. They're not going to do it. As an average woman, because we're going to just go ahead and say it. I know she's a cheerleader, or a dance team person at a professional level. She's very average to be making these decisions. And that's the also other galling part of this is like, technically he's above average because he put some work in. And this is the power dynamic that's out of whack, especially in the Black community. And I think we're starting to learn that, everybody's working backwards and hoping to get the result. Everybody's working against themselves and hoping to get a result. It's crazy.
Cool. Like, I saw a lot of women saying, like, oh, if you gave him a little fade, like, he was gold. Maybe that's not him. Like, you know what I mean?
Took him a little haircut.
Be like y'all want me to talk to him and change him? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, how do you know he wants that? So at the end of the day, it's better for him to talk to somebody who he feels like is good for him and vice versa. Like, I deserve that. I think everybody deserves to have what they want instead of trying to be forced just because y'all like, oh, he has a great job. Like, okay.
So now with all these people kind of like.
So, but she didn't learn that he had anything else. He also said he was a martial artist. So, women talk a lot about protection and being protected. Like, it's a very valuable trait. He brought that up there, but she just reduced him down to being his job and boring.
I mean, at you, if you could be doing it over, would you do it differently or would you do it the same way?
That's a good question.
I would say I probably still would have pineappled him.
Yeah.
For his response. Yeah, for sure.
Guys, take notes. Take notes. She has no regrets, even after all the backlash, even after the village basically saying she was wrong. She has no regrets. And this is the sad state of affairs. This is where we're at right now. So you can't even show her correctly what to do because she still would make the same decisions. And this is how we end up in the state that we're in. You feel me?
For his response. I'm standing on that. I'm not changing. I'm fine on that. But I will say that, and then I also think from my perspective, like I understand what people are saying, but I also think from my perspective, it's like at the end of the day, let's call a spade a spade. Like I went on the show and guys were coming on there to try to talk to me. Like, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
So now she's also highlighting the fact that this artificial scenario has somehow boosted her station and how many men want her. They're on here to talk to me. No, they're on there to talk to whatever woman comes on that show, because you know what? It doesn't matter which woman is there. It's a game show almost. So what are you talking about? The Pineapple Show has nothing to do with your personal desirability.
Period. Now, I will say I'm somebody who likes to see things from all different perspectives. So, yeah, I will say this, though. Watching the video back, I feel like my body language could have been better.
Yeah.
Because after I rewatched the clip, I was like, you literally saw it go downhill for me. Because I'm like, when he first came on, I'm like, okay, tell me about yourself. And he's like, I do this or whatever. I'm a nuclear physicist. Like, and I'm like, oh shit. Like, okay, you know what I mean? And then I honestly think like once we finally got to the part about him telling me like he made an A on his test, I'm just kind of like,
that gum is awful.
no, I need more. Because I think at the end of the day, like what people don't realize is that's still fucking superficial. Period.
Okay, but what do you want to say to people who have been saying?
Who's really superficial in this situation? Who's the real superficial person here? Is it the guy that just brought his best foot forward? So he thought.
I said because I read it in the comments, and they were like, "Get a dog, get a cat, die alone. You'll always be single." What you gotta say to these people?
I'm gonna say those people that y'all don't.
That statement doesn't apply to her yet. But if she keeps acting like this, hey, she's still young right now.
Know me, and two, at the end of the day, what's for me will be for me. Like, I don't feel like they hold any kind of substance, and you obviously have way too much time on your hands to even be like, you're gonna die alone. Like, maybe you're gonna die alone. Like, now what?
So she just turns it back. Oh, okay, yeah, that was a weak comeback.
So a lot of women have came to me, DMing me, emailing me, talking about where you at. So I've been looking for him. If I find him, would you give him another chance, or you're done?
So somebody asked me that, and at first I said yeah, but I also think at this point, like, because it's such a thing, I'm just like, this is so annoying.
Yeah.
But I will say this for sure. I do think that he was probably nervous, so maybe in a different setting, we would maybe get some different results.
Mm-hmm. So do you think that moving forward, you're gonna act differently when guys approach you?
I think I'm not even gonna sit here and try to save face. I just think like if we call it a spade, at that point I just wasn't interested. So if I'm not interested, I'm just not interested. Like I'm not gonna try to force it. It's not like I was like, oh, he's lame because he's a nuclear physicist. Like, no, that shit is dope. But at the end of the day, that doesn't mean that he's right for me. Period.
Okay.
So I mean, maybe should I smile a little more?
Sure. Maybe be a little more, just a little more approachable. Because, they got to do this whole thing of like coming onto you and talking. And it's like.
Belly buster. Maybe try not being such of an asshole.
Really like nerve wracking for them. And, sometimes women are a little cold and,
Right.
So do you feel like I was cold from the time you came on?
No, I did feel like you liked him. And then I saw it when you started not really fucking with him like that.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. So like,
but also
think that,
the part that people didn't see that he came back on because the chat was going crazy talking about no, give him a chance. Like why you did that, and a lot of people were like, well, it's good for him. Like it was a blessing for him to not be with you and shit. And then
he saved himself a lot of headache. I'm telling you.
Came back on, and then you told him, oh my God, it's you again. So okay, tell me a little more about yourself. And then because at this point he was just clowning, he didn't say anything,
Yeah. So, but I just let me also address this because I keep seeing this comment that like, I'm gonna be responsible for him only dating white women.
I was like, stop it.
No, so many people have said that to me, and I think that's crazy. So you're gonna tell me that I'm gonna live.
Well, I mean. It's traumatizing experiences. It's a public embarrassment. Maybe. I mean, I'm not going to sit here and say that's the reason that black men do that, but you could contribute to something like that. and you don't realize it. So, I mean, is he wrong for making that decision? Maybe. But the fact of the matter is you've shown him no type of energy. You didn't give him a chance. So he's going to take his talents elsewhere. And I'm sure not just white women, but any other women might actually hold him in high regard. What do you think about that?
Really be responsible for this man to stop dating a whole race of women. Let's keep it a buck, and I'm gonna call a spade a spade. If that is what it takes for him to stop talking to black women, he wasn't that interested in black women anyways.
Oh, it was his fault. It was still his fault. After all that, this no accountability bullshit has to end. It's still his fault, though. Okay.
I'm not. I'm being for real. I'm not gonna be responsible for that. That's crazy to me. And then I keep seeing the whole comment of like, oh, she's just young and doesn't know what she's talking about. Yes, I may be 23 years old, but I'm not stupid. I've literally.
What are we talking about? When is the prime for women to actually make those decisions and find that husband that they wanted? Sometimes it's in college, right? That undergrad. Sometimes you're sitting across from the perfect person for you later down the line. But you're not in that mind state. You're still out here running the streets. But like I said, she'll figure this out in time. You know what I mean? Like, so let her go through it. You know, let her bump her head. She knows it all, obviously. So allow her to continue on in the same fashion that she has been and see how it turns out.
I think it's interesting because I feel like it was literally the perfect headline for the blogs, like for what's going on social media right now and this whole like gender war thing. And I feel like I literally fit I won't even say the description because they don't know me. I feel like a lot of people stereotype me because they feel like, oh, she's cute, she's young. I literally had some.
She's all right. She's putting a little extra.
You'd be like, oh, she's probably a bottle girl. Like, and nothing against bottle girls. Like, if that's how you get your money, that's how you get your money. But to me, that was interesting. And so, with this conversation in particular, they were like actually on a live YouTube show talking about it. And I listened to them dog me, like literally for like a good hour. And finally, they're like.
She was like, oh, they're dogging me. They're talking about me. Yeah. Yeah. Well, and she still hasn't gotten it, even after all that, people were dogging her out.
Yeah. And so finally, I started like talking shit back in the comments, right? So then when I got on the live, they were like, how long have you been here? And I'm like, I've been here the whole time. I heard everything you said about me. And so we're like having this, I'm like, I heard what you said, sister, know what you said. Like, let's debate about it, right? So now we're like having this conversation and I started talking about myself and I'm like, well, actually, you know, I started dancing for the NBA when I was 19. I just recently opened like my first dance studio location in Augusta and I'm actually going to school to be a nurse. And then to me, it was automatically interesting because the whole tone of the conversation changed. It was kind of like, oh shit, like she has some business about herself. You know what I mean? So
I'm still, those are still perspective things. You know what I mean? Like you don't have it all sewn up. So don't just hang that up. I don't care if you were a cheerleader for the Atlanta Hawks. Like, look, it ain't like world class employment. It's not a high level item. You know what I mean? It's not a high level resume. So what are you talking about? You literally talk to a guy who in the black community is probably less than 5%, maybe 7% of black population is in that area. And when you talk about nuclear physics, you know what I mean? Maybe even less than that.
It was just like, to me, I just think it's so interesting how
definitely.
The whole thing went down. I just like I was an easy target for them to be like, oh,
now she's a target. She's an easy target. But it was easy to just reject people, man. Yeah, it's interesting.
He wants this and she wants that. Like, just how they were saying that they feel like it was lame for me to do X, Y, and Z. I think it's lame for y'all to just automatically assume that I want something that I didn't even say. And then especially to all these 40 and 50-year-old women out here, like, don't y'all got something else to do other than to be bashing a 23-year-old on
Oh, she got smoke for the older women.
Instagram?
So tell me
They're telling you what you are about to experience. They're saying, please don't go down the path that I went down. That's what the 40 and 50-year-old women are telling you. I'm just going to put it out there in plain English. That's what they're telling you.
What's the worst comment you got?
Gosh, I don't even know. I've seen so many.
It was so many.
Because that was their son up there, basically. There's a lot of women that probably took offense to that. They're like, what? You wouldn't even take my son, and he's less than this guy. You know what I mean? He's not even as accomplished. And then you start to see the problems in dating in the younger ages and what some of the men are going through, and basically having to put on a facade as some skinny jean wearing rapper when that's not who they are at all.
Like how many?
Yeah, it's been a lot. Like, I'm not gonna lie, eventually I started clapping back because I'm like, at this point, y'all got me fucked up. I had somebody come on my page tell me that I'm a city girl mindset, and just being like, I think, I wouldn't even say one in particular was just like, oh my God. I think the overall of them trying to make it seem like that I'm just this horrible person who isn't worthy of something good just because I decided that somebody wasn't for me is the most hurtful thing about it. It's just like, damn. So now I deserve to be alone, or even the comment of like, she doesn't deserve him. So then what do I deserve? What are you saying? I deserve to get my ass.
You deserve what you're willing to be available to. And if you're available to basketball players, because, you know, there's a fraternization rule about those dancers not dealing with the basketball players, but I figure if you have exposure to them, a lot of women think that that's their level now, when realistically, this should be your level. You know what I mean? An educated man who's working in the military, got some discipline about himself, and, you know. But, I mean, he might not be for you. So, you know, you're welcome to that. But, you know, in 30 years and 20 years, he ain't going to be there waiting. I'm guarantee you that.
Like, is that what you're saying? I deserve to be cheated on? I think, like, hearing a lot of it coming from women.
And now she went to that. And then she said, hold up, did she just say she deserves to get her ass beat because she rejected? This is crazy, man. She's making...
So now I deserve to be alone, or even the comment of like, she doesn't deserve him. So then what do I deserve? What are you saying? I deserve to get my ass beat? Like, is that what you're saying? I deserve to be cheated on? And I think like hearing a lot of it coming from women is like, you're saying these things.
She's taking it to an extreme because now nobody's saying that. Nobody's saying that. But that's in your head for some reason. I don't know, man.
About me, but what does that say about you to even say that about another Black woman?
Mm-hmm.
Because there's something called constructive criticism.
Absolutely, and you couldn't take it.
Yeah.
They're trying to give you some.
You know what I mean?
Maybe they said that's what they were doing. I don't know.
Like,
that's what they were doing.
Like, oh, I don't deserve him, or people just being like, oh, she's not intelligent. Like,
yeah.
Are you intelligent?
That's some insecurity speaking right there. Nobody said you weren't intelligent. They're just saying you don't make intelligent decisions. You don't even try to humor intelligent decisions. You know what I mean?
Intelligent. So, I know. I think that's just my whole thing, my whole take. I would definitely say I can be more aware of my body language, but at the end of the day, he didn't answer my question how I needed him to answer it. And then I also think that people didn't really watch the whole clip. I've seen several clips of it being like chopped and screwed. And I'm just like, what? That's not how that even went down.
Yeah.
So there we have it. That's Jale's response. Well, she's basically set it up that she was not interested in this man for whatever reason. Like I said, that's her right. Now I would say this is part of what's wrong with our community. We haven't put value on education in the same way that we've put on entertainment and sports, and people who've accomplished things in those areas and made money in those areas, and money in general. So unfortunately, with the decisions that are being made, you know, like she said, she's an avatar. she basically represents something. And I think that's why people had such a visceral reaction to it. Why they thought, hey, that's not right. And they offered some correction. So you can just put blinders on and plug your ears and say that they're all wrong. But obviously there was something there. That they were trying to get through to you. So I don't know. Best of luck to you, young lady. Hey, shout out to you, nuclear physicist. Salute. Get your money, get out the military, and start your life. you probably won't find your wife on the Pineapple Show anyway. No offense, Melly Monaco. Love you. Yeah, and call me, Melly. Call me. We need to collab. It's long overdue. Anyway, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. This is Faucette Media. Anyway, if you like this video, like, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification for all uploads. This is Faucette Media.